So I love this class because it's all about finding your business. When I first started, I actually started on a team on the west side. And the interesting thing about that was I started as an ISA. If you guys aren't familiar with an ISA, it's an inside sales agent. It's someone that basically takes a whole list of people or FISBOs or expireds or whatever and calls through them and sets appointments. And so my job every day was to get 2 appointments. How many of you would like 2 appointments every single day? Right? So we know that from appointments, you're probably going to, if you have a good conversion rate, you probably from appointments, you should be getting about 50% of those closed. Okay, it's not just signed, but actually closed. You should be signing about 75, 70% of them, and then from that, you should be closing 50% of them. So when you think about 2 appointments a day, we're talking about 10 appointments a week. So that would be like 5 closings a week if you extrapolate it out over time. First year as a buyer's agent, I did 53. When I started the team, obviously a lot less leverage. I did 41 last year, and I think we're on pace to do about 60 this year, something like that. So I love talking about this. I love scripts. I love role play. And the reason why is because it all leads back to business. Okay, that's why we're all here, right? It's business. That's the ultimate goal. So real quick, if I can go around, because I don't think everyone here is from Keller Williams, right? So go from outside brokerages. Anybody? I thought there was at least a couple. Okay. So everyone's here signed on with Keller Williams Integrity First. Okay, awesome. Who's on a team? Okay, well, I know you're on Melanie, right? What team are you on? Tia, that's right. I met you the other day. Kristen Cole. Oh, that's right. Okay. I just saw she invited me to the Kristen Cole Lifestyle Network, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. So you guys are new to the market center, right?
Yes.
Expansion. Cool. You're the guy. Awesome. Well, looking to grow, and that's great. I know Kristen. She's a great lady in Denny and all that. Oh, you haven't? Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So Chris Cole, if you guys don't know, big expansion agent. Do you know how many locations they have? Including, you know? Yeah, it's big. Yeah, yeah, they're getting up there with Cody and so this isn't about expansion, right? But it is about finding your business and how to lead generate. That's really we could talk a lot about real estate but if you don't actually do it, it doesn't matter, right? So this is a very practical class. We're talking a lot about what you actually have to do. What I'd like to find out though is what are your guys' experience levels. I don't want to dumb it down if you guys have a lot of experience. And I also don't want to talk at a really high level if you have no experience. So if we can just go around, we'll start here. How long have you been in business and how many transactions you've closed?
New, I was 100% brokerage for about 2 months, then I get moved over here 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
I have one client right now I was supposed to show homes today, but it's kind of getting a little shaky for some reason.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get some answers today.
Awesome. So maybe we'll talk on scripts about that specifically. Does that work for you? Okay. Sam, right?
Yeah, I just hit a year, got second PC for the first 6 months, so
Cool.
pretty much doesn't count.
Yeah, okay.
About 5 years.
Good for you. Awesome. Awesome.
I'm only there for 3 months now. The only experience I had so far is just purchasing.
Okay. Awesome. Good.
I've been here a couple of weeks, so just
Awesome. Did you pass your test yesterday? Oh, okay. All right. I was hoping we'd have an excitement. That's all right. You know what? There's people I know in this room that took it 3 times, and then they passed the 4th time, I think it was. So 7 times. There you go. All right. And there's other people that take it once, and that's okay.
I got 73.5.
There you go. Okay.
It's like
You know what's really exciting about that, in a good way? Real estate school doesn't teach you anything about real estate, right? So if it did, we'd be concerned about people that didn't pass 3 times or 2 times or 7 times or whatever. But it doesn't. It doesn't teach you anything about real estate. Real estate is about serving people. It's not about filling out contracts. The contract, if you haven't looked at it already on .loop or eSign or whatever, it's fill in the blank, right? You should know it. You should be able to, talk about it, but that getting business to get to get there is what we're talking about today. So don't worry about that at all. Study hard. I always like the flashcard thing, so if you haven't made up flashcards, do that. And if you have kids or a spouse or a friend that can just do that 15 minutes a day, you're going to be in good shape. All right, so don't be discouraged. Susan.
For new, so I'm going to June, and I'm doing a night again because I was officially signed up. So I had your class last time.
Okay.
And then I thanked you for the class, and you said, well, you kind of have to sign up in order, and so I did. And so, yeah, it's been busy, and I've been learning through, but, I really love all of the teaching and learning opportunities here.
Awesome. Any vets in the room? Veterans? Anybody? Okay. So I was in law enforcement, and I was in the Army for 8 years. I've been through police academy, been through basic training, military police school, all that fun stuff. I was also a dispatcher for a while. All those failed in comparison to the mental aspect of real estate. There's a huge dropout rate in real estate because it's difficult. You have to go through 1,000 no's to get a yes. The people that make it are the people that say that's okay, right? Those are crazy. That's okay. That's good. Okay, cool. You just said something that I'm going to touch on, which is the risk profile. Sorry. Anybody taking the disc profile yet? This assessment? And then Miguel, you have? Okay. So we'll go over that a little bit later. But thank you for mentioning that. Miguel. Yep. Yep. Same?
Signed on July 5th. No transaction on the dog.
Yeah. That's right. Everyone is yet. Okay, so it sounds like we don't have a whole lot of experience in here. That's okay, all right? In fact, I always like people that have no experience versus some experience. Because when you have some experience, you're dangerous, right? Because you kind of understand enough to get in trouble. Or you develop bad habits. You guys hopefully you don't have any bad habits. Hopefully, if this is a brand new slate, and this is where we can go from, okay? So, not on scripts, we'll talk about this. What do you guys want to talk about? Specifically in regards to finding your business. So we're talking about lead generation today. What are you guys interested in learning about? I'm going to cover some things that we should cover. Being brand new, you may not know everything that you want. But what are you guys interested in learning about so that I can tailor it specifically to you?
So mine's kind of a little off of that, but there's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
You need to take a path. And that's where I'm still trying to think of.
Cool.
You can do this 50 things you can do, which more is going to work.
Okay. Talk about one thing. Some of these are notes for me that I'll refer back to, just so we can talk about it. But lead gen and specifically what avenues to take. Okay, what else? Sorry, hands up, Sam.
Lead gen with a small database or small sphere.
Okay. Okay, what else?
Scripts for new agents that don't have a ton of experience or newer or
Okay. Alright, horribly handwriting, I know. If you can't read, it's okay, I'll talk about it. What else? Good.
Maybe a little bit of fire presentations, or how those look for,
We probably won't cover that today, only because it's going to be taught in a later class, and this is specifically about lead generation. I'm happy to share our buyer presentation with you guys and everything else. It follows a very simple path, so we can touch on that if we have time. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's in the.
So I'm gonna put that down here. Okay. So what else, guys? Come on.
About lead gen that costs money, paper leads, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Alright, what else? I've only heard from 3 people so far, and there's how many are in here? Conversion? What about conversion specifically?
What's the average rate? How do you, things to do to.
Let me go through the sales funnel as well with that. Okay. What else? Okay, yep, which is really the goal in everything that we do, right?
Referral
Referral specifically from where?
from friends.
Okay. You'll see me talk about SOI a lot. That's going to be sphere of influence. Okay. So SOI would be friends, family, church, softball club, whatever it is. Okay. So SOI referrals is what we're talking about, right?
How about the best way to convert leads to followers?
Okay. So yeah, we'll cover that on setting appointments. Yep. What else? All right, so at this point, I've heard, and sorry guys, I'm super direct and I'm down to earth and everything else. And if you haven't come with a specific, I want to learn this today, how do I say this? The Army would say you're wrong. I don't want to say you're wrong, but you always want to come, any class you go to, any conference, any appointment that you go on, any phone call you make, you should have a point of making that phone call or making that appointment, right? So what specifically do you want to learn today? So I want to hear from everybody about that, okay? Because obviously, like you're spending 3 hours or probably 2.5 hours with me. I want to know what's important for you, because ultimately at the end of this class, I want you to take away at least one thing. And I'm going to ask you at the end, did you get what you wanted? Okay? And then I'm going to ask you to fill out that eval and all that fun stuff. So I know it's not comfortable, and what I've learned is that it's okay to be uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, it means that you're actually growing. So, what do you guys want to learn?
During your flexible sales appointments, are you, is the goal to get a buyer broker signed?
Okay, good.
What does it look like if they don't want to, or?
Yeah, good question. Who else? Come on. Huh? Don't be nervous.
The most effective lead generation, I guess I need to ask it because I know it might be different for each person.
Yep.
Or like how to find out the best lead gen for us that really is the most
Great.
effective, that's the most effective.
Great question. All right.
So for me, I haven't started doing any of it, so I'm not licensed yet, so when I am, like, I start to look at what is the best, like, where is the best place to start. I guess I'm not sure where to.
Okay, we'll probably cover that in the effective lead gen. That's a good question though. And by the way, you can actually start lead generating before you're licensed.
Okay.
We can talk about that
Very
then.
well.
Yep, can't talk about PTA, right? Price, terms, availability. But can you set an appointment? That's what I did before I was licensed.
Can we, about open house, lead generation, and
Absolutely. Open house, all right.
This time, or if it's in a different section, let me know, but I'd like
I
to
talk
know-
fast, it's always a good time.
I'd like to know more about when it comes, like, when it's time to sit down and write the contract, what that looks like, as far as use the document forms or handwritten, or how we set an appointment in the office, kind of what you typically like to do, when a client does find a home and you want to write an offer, maybe steps or things like that.
Yep, okay, so again, and I love you. The reason why is because you're always thinking ahead. You're like, most of that's gonna be covered in another class. Specifically, I wanna talk about lead gen today, finding your business, because you don't get to a contract or an appointment if you don't lead gen, right? So that's what we're talking about is lead gen. But I will give you like my best practices and like what I do and that kind of thing. I can tell you I'm not the expert at it, right? I haven't sold a million homes or anything like that. But I can also tell you that I'm in it every single day, and so I know the market well, and I can tell you what is working for us. The biggest mistakes that I'm seeing right now with with agents just in general, and why they're not converting. Okay. What else, guys? I know I'm making like everybody uncomfortable right now because they're asking what else. But guess what you do in the buyer appointment? Hey, what else is important? What else is important? Right? Until they go, nothing. I don't know. Like that's it. Right? Then you know that you've done your job.
I guess door knocking scripts. I always feel awkward. I don't
Cool.
know what to bring. Like what item of value can I tried it once and didn't go too well. So.
Okay. I'm gonna be asking you about that and why it didn't go well. What else, guys?
I see realtors do a bunch of percentage of mortgages.
Yeah.
Is that effective?
Have you taken this profile?
No.
Okay.
I'm just, and then it's just the, right,
Like going to happy hours?
what was coming up.
Well, I'm just asking in general. Do you like going to happy
Oh,
hours?
yeah.
Like, is that like, hey, I want to go every single weekend?
Not every.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. So, you're like, why are you asking these questions? That doesn't make any sense. It makes a whole lot of sense when you understand your disc profile. I can tell you I'm a high D, and I'm also kind of a trailing I. Okay, a D is a dominant personality. You guys haven't figured that out already. The military, law enforcement, that's pretty, kind of need that, right? Dominant personality, I also drive, and so I'm a hard driver, if you will. So I'm going to be constantly keep going. I don't like to analyze a lot. If you give me 12 pages of notes, I'm going to look through and get the highlights and then sign, right? A C would be someone that is very conscientious and it wants to read the whole thing. So a lot of engineers, analysts, financial advisors, accountants, that kind of thing. So there's a big difference between those two. Community events for someone that is an analyst, probably not going to work so well. Probably not going to be an effective lead gen, only because you're going to lose a ton of energy. You could be super, hey, glad to have you in here and all that fun stuff, but by the end of the night, you're going to be done, right? And you're not going to want to call those people that you got their numbers from and things like that, because your energy will just be super low, right? And then typically what an analyst does, someone that's in the C personality type, is that they're going to want to analyze everything, and they're going to say, okay, where's this person live? Let me look up their Facebook profile. Let me do all this research. Then they're going to call them and say, oh yeah, we already have a realtor. We just really like your community event. Thanks for inviting us, right? Versus the D that probably wouldn't do half of that, but would still have the energy to call and call. Right? I may not like it, but an I in this personality profile would be like, oh, I loved it. I wish we could have gone 6 hours instead of 3. And then the next morning they got up super early just so they could talk to more people, right? So it all depends on kind of what your what your personal preference is. So that kind of touches on effective lead gen as well. It can work. Community events can work. It should be a part of everybody's strategy at least 3 to 4 times a year. Right? It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be, this this grand party where there's 3,000 people there. It can literally be 10 people show up to pick up a pie from you, right? But you put that out on social media, you get referrals from those people and everything else. I can tell you, we did that last November, and so this is something you can start looking at for your database, even if it's small. And I think we got like 4 referrals from that, and it cost me like $60 to do. And if we had 8 people show up, it wasn't a big deal, right? But we put out on social media, hey, some people picked up, some pies from us. We're just grateful for the opportunity to work with them, and that kind of thing. And people thought it was a lot bigger than it actually was, right? You can do all kinds of different stuff. I'm not huge on, oh, hey, let's show like we have 1,000 people, but I am on, to that person it was important, right? So it's important to me as well. All right, anything else?
Social media leads.
Social media, okay. I'll put that in here. Yes. What else?
How about giveaways for open houses or reach out?
Okay. Be more specific.
Like, give referrals of gift cards or golf balls or open houses.
Okay. Play golfing?
I'm terrible, but
You like it?
yeah.
Would you go with somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, then we go golf ball. Good. I hate golfing, and I'm terrible at it, so I don't go golf. I don't want to be associated with golf. But you see how that works? Like do something that you love, right? Because if you want to be surrounded by a bunch of people that like golf and you want golf balls and they get on that topic, I'm going to be like, I went golfing twice and I hated both times, right? Overpriced beer, was horrible at it, and it was hot. Doesn't sound like a fun time.
Isn't that all of your
Which, no, this is talking about like, well, I don't remember who said, but pay per lead, be specific to like pay per click and how to get leads by paying for them. Yeah, exactly. Yep. We're covering a lot. This is good.
How about the possibility of local investors?
Yes. Absolutely. Look. No, a little different. Actually, someone I would refer to, I will refer you to, in regards to working with builders, we do a very high level. Okay. What else? Everything you guys want to know? Specifically about lead gen and that kind of thing. Are we done? Okay. Susan?
I don't know, I'm always most effective, but there's the social media, there's working with social media like Facebook, and then there's in-depth like Facebook and those things. There's a better way to work it, and I'm trying to figure that out. There's more in-depth. Reaching people.
Okay.
Those social media.
We'll cover that in the social media. Okay. I heard somebody else. What was that? Cool. So why are we looking at this super old guy? This is a great video. It's a Miguel. I know you've seen it. Has anyone else seen this video? How do lobsters grow? Why are we talking about lobsters in a real estate class? Doesn't make any sense. You'll understand why.
I want to tell you about the stress.
Maybe. That's it. Oh, there we go.
And how we have to look at stress. Okay? There's something I want to tell you about the stress and how we have to look at stress. Okay? And I think it's an important thing because many people have told me from my lectures they want to do that. Okay? I was sitting in a dentist's office and looked at an article that said, how do lobsters grow? I don't know. But I was interested. And it points out that a lobster is a soft, mushy animal that lives inside of a rigid shell. That rigid shell does not expand. Well, how can the lobster grow? Well, as the lobster grows, that shell becomes very confining. And the lobster feels itself under pressure and uncomfortable. It goes under a rock formation, gets itself from predatory fish, casts off the shell, and produces a new one. Well, eventually, that shell becomes very uncomfortable as it grows and grows. Back under the rocks, and the lobster repeats this numerous times. The stimulus for the lobster to be able to grow is that it feels uncomfortable. Right? Now, if lobsters had doctors, they would never grow, because as soon as the lobster feels uncomfortable, goes to the doctor, gets a Valium, gets a Percocet, feels fine, never comes off himself. So I think that we have to realize that times of stress are also times that are signals for growth. And if we use adversity properly, we can grow through adversity.
Why did I show you guys that? Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're going through right now, especially with the important topic, and it's not always comfortable. But he's saying, yeah, let you know that you're growing, and that's what it's supposed to be like.
Yep.
You shouldn't get too down with it, it's just because it's hard and it's
Right. Anybody else? You've signed up for adversity, basically, without knowing it. You have. You sign up for a job that everyone thinks is an awesome job, that you have flexibility and make all this money in, but most people don't tell you up front, it's a lot of hard work. And you have to gain a lot of knowledge, and you have to gain not only knowledge, but you have to gain skills and habits, right? This, I can tell you, this is all about personal development, right? That's why we do Ignite. That's why Keller Williams is so much about training and education, is because if you just take one thing away from what we do today, it's personal development. Constantly grow. If you don't grow, you die. Think about the lobster's case, right? If it didn't grow, it would die in its shell. Right? Get picked off by a bigger predator or whatever it is, right? So the idea is, it wants to constantly grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. What I find interesting, he doesn't mention it in this, but I've seen in my own life, is that when I'm stressed, I have to take a couple days off, take like a day off, and go, man, you know, I can't have appointments all day long, right? Because you're stressed and you're anxious and everything else. You need to have time of rest. And that's why I tell every client that we have, Sundays, I don't work. I work 6 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. Sundays we take off for family and friends and to be at our best for you next week. Right? Set that as a standard and an expectation that you meet with every single client, not when you first meet them, but at an appointment. Set that expectation, because it will only, I've done the 24/7 realtor thing. It sucks. It's horrible. You have no days off, can't take a vacation. It's horrible. When I started implementing the day off, I started being more effective. Right? I'm now trying to take more days off, because you know you guys have probably heard something about like, well, every time I go on vacation, like there's more business, right? I think there's a correlation for that. I think there is, because you're rested, you're you know, and people want that. People want someone that knows what they're doing, is able to take vacations, and is able. They don't want to work with a stressed out realtor that texts them back at 2 a.m. Right? They may think they want that, but they really don't want that. They want someone that will lead them. Right? So this is about leading, it's about confidence. Yeah, so let's get into this. All right, so avenues of lead gen. There are a ton of avenues of lead gen. I'm going to write up 3, and then I want you guys to give me the other ones. Okay, and we're not, I mean, we can fill up this whole board, okay? But I'm going to write up 3. For sale by owner. I'll go with the easy ones, so you guys have the hard ones. Flyers. What else? Farming. What else? Houses. What else? What else? Okay, what else? Okay, what else? Paying for lead? Okay, specifically what? Zillow. Okay, what else? Now, there's 10 of you in here, and I don't even have 10 on the board. And I know a bunch of you guys have multiple sources, so what else? Specifically from where? That's good to hear. Other agent? Okay. Agent referral. Who was in the meeting yesterday? Sales date. Okay. Who heard me talk about how much percentage of our cap was already paid for by agent referrals? 60% of our cap this year, year to date. Okay, what else? All right, what else? Who has a hobby? Golf. That would probably be under networking, but I'm going to make a point here. Who else has a hobby? What do you guys enjoy doing? Sure. Okay. What else? Horseback. Okay, what else? That's your hobby? Okay. All right. What would you call that? All right. House hunting. Sure. Why not? What else?
I don't know if this is like there's some way, just talking to people wherever you are, or wherever you
That's your hobby?
Oh, that's not my hobby.
Okay. Okay. But what you're talking about is just general, what's the word I'm looking for? Awareness, right? I would consider that prospecting though. That's not lead gen, right? Just because you stick your chest out and you got your sign on, And by the way, has anyone heard of like turning your name tag upside down? Okay. Depends on your personality. We'll get to that. Anyway. Okay. Like PTA kind of stuff? Athletic, okay. What else? Yep. How about your vendor? Lenders, home inspectors, architects, roofers, contractors, all them, right? Okay. There's a ton more. Who has the MREA book? Raise your hand. The red book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Okay, so 1, 2, how many? So there's 5 out of the 10 of you. So you guys don't have the book? No, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Yep, that red one up. So you have it? You have it?
They're giving away for free.
There you go. Okay. Awesome. You have it? You do have it? Okay, have you read it? Okay. So, okay, what chapter are you in? Okay, cool. All right, so in the MREA book, there's a whole list of lead gen, right? I encourage you, this is homework, so write it down. Look at that page. I don't remember exactly what page, I should have had that better for you, but go find that page and look at the lead gen activity that you guys can do, because there's a ton of them. Okay, this is just scratching the surface. We'll talk about these, because that's what it's about. How to get in this. Why do I mention hobbies, right? So this guy, this guy, this guy, this one. I don't even get the athletic issues in there, because if you have a kid in school or something like that, like you're going to be there to watch them and that kind of thing. Why do I list those?
Good way to meet people.
Great way to meet people, right? Okay. The other thing is if you like to golf, go find 2 new people that you can golf with every other day, right? Where do you think you're most effective? Do you think you're most effective when you're hot, sweaty, door knocking? Or do you think you're most effective when you're, having a beer with people at 10 a.m. or however golf works? I don't even know. But you see what I mean? Like you're enjoying yourself. You're at you're calm. You're relaxed. You're enjoying the conversation with other people. That's where business happens. Why do CEOs go on golf outings? Why is Trump out there? Why is Obama out there? Why are they out there, right? It's not just because they love the game of golf. Let me tell you that right now, right? Because they probably think it's a big waste of time unless they're having a discussion. Does that make sense? So go do what you enjoy. Horseback riding. Tons of people there, right? And there's money in it typically. I mean, it's expensive to ride horses. It's expensive to own horses, right? Can that be your niche maybe, right? If you love horses.
So how would you approach somebody? I mean, say you're out golfing, how would you approach somebody?
Very salesy and very unconfident. No. Hey, you want to buy or sell? No, you're not going to do anything like that, right? You could, right? You could. What's your conversion rate of that? Probably pretty low, right? Well, Miguel, let me ask you this, because people work with agents that they do 3 things with. What are they? Know, like, and trust. So, you being in front of them and being at the gym, right? You're the one that's at the gym, right? Okay, being at the gym. Do they get to know you over time? Yeah, over time, right? I mean, it's not immediate, right? They're going to get to know you, okay? Over time, are you a pretty likable person? I like to think so, right? We all like to think so, right? Can you kind of judge that with how things are going with people, right? Over time, you learn, hey, this guy is a roided up crazy guy and I never want to work with him, but I really like this person over here. They're really respectful. They put their weights back. I spot them, they spot me, that kind of thing, right? So you get to like them, right? And they get to like you. Trust over time happens when people know and like you, right? And it especially happens at a buyer broker appointment when you can show them, hey, you can trust me as a real estate agent because we know each other, we like each other. Now here's why you can trust me, right? Is there any reason why someone wouldn't work with you if they know you, they like you, and they trust you? Potentially, yeah. So what's your job then?
A lot of people, there's so many real estate agents now that everybody knows somebody that's real.
Yeah.
So how do you snatch them away?
Everybody knows 5 people that are realtors, right? Yeah. It's not about snatching away, it's about providing the most value. Right? If I only see them at the gym, right, I may not know them as much as somebody else that's a family member, right? Which is why we always hear about, oh, my cousin is this, or whatever. The idea is that you need to win their trust, and you need to get to know them better. Find out their motivation, find out what their pain points, and hit on them. Not really hit on them, but hit on them. And guys, go be an enjoyable person to be around. right? Go have coffee with people, right? Could you invite? What time do you work out?
Oh, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give a personal example then. So I work out from 5:30 to 6:30 every single night. I go to Krav Maga gym, and which is like an Israeli fighting type deal. I know all the instructors, every single person that I work out with. I get to know them, their name. I'm shaking hands with them, all that fun stuff. I'm not doing it just for business. I'm doing it because I generally want to know these people, and I want to create friendships. Right? These people value something that I value, which is physical fitness and protecting the family. Right? I mean, that's why you do Krav Maga. So I'm gonna invite them. Hey, do you want to go have a drink afterwards or whatever? Like, just want to get to know you better. Right? I'm not hard selling them and going, hey, I want to talk about real estate with you. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to create real relationships with people because I know that real relationships end up in business because of these three things: they know, like, and trust. Right? Now we're talking a lot about mindset right now, right? Because your mindset has to be right before you actually lead gen, just so you know. Okay? And you have to understand, why are you doing the thing that you're doing? Right? Because any one of you can go out and door knock the houses across the street in Superstition Springs. How many of you can convert though? And how many of you will understand, okay, I'm having this conversation because I'm creating a relationship over time. Right? Yes, you're going for the appointment, but you're creating a relationship over time to eventually get the sale.
So how would you bring up that, okay, I'm in real estate and, you know anybody or?
Let's role play. Let's have coffee, right? What do you have? You don't have this weird freaking. What's your name? Felicia, how are you doing today? Good. I have so enjoyed working out with you, talking about all this kind of stuff. And I just want to know you better and that kind of thing. I know it's a significant investment in time and everything else to go to these 4 days a week like we do. So what do you do for work? You're still a mom? Okay, awesome. Yes, go for it.
I just want you guys to know, one of the things that we value here at Keller Williams Realty is a pleasure education. As you power there, all there, we have the systems in the whole. But the second thing is we really value culture. And yesterday at our team meeting, those of you that were able to attend, I let you know that Kevin Mary was the recipient of the Cultural American Award. As well as and I just wanted you to realize that you have such a really special person sitting in front of you.
So platforms, if I could.
I did that yesterday. Okay, forget it. All right. So, so you're saying, well, that's my life. That is like a special thing that you get to do. How many things do you have? You're three, what do you do? So I'm a little bit behind you. I'm 4, 5, 6 right now. How did you get through those crazy stuff? How did you get through those years? Patience. We're dealing with a lot of that right now. And so are you married or? Okay, cool. And so I assume your husband works then?
Yeah.
What does he do? Oh, cool. Where?
He's not here, he's in Colorado for right now.
Illinois, okay. Chicago or where?
Right out of Chicago.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, hey, the reason I wanted advice was, like I said, just to know you better and that kind of thing. I'm always interested in finding out more and building relationships with people. And so one of the things that I want to know is, if you live nearby or you far away or whatever. Oh, you do? Okay. Awesome. And do you guys rent or do you buy? Oh, good for you. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm in real estate, and so if you ever need help with anything, getting questions about windows or anything like that, just let me know. I'd be happy to help you guys. So how long are you planning on doing Talk About this? Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm planning on doing it probably for the rest of my life. It's all possible, right? I really value this. So when is the So I'm gonna stop it there, because first of all, I probably wouldn't go on this appointment by myself, knowing that, I don't, like, I'm married, right? And your husband's gone, that's kind of weird, right? Yeah. But there's all kinds of different things, right? I probably wouldn't ask, I probably have you at the office, and probably have you go there. But or, hey, just get together with the things that I do, right? I think the important thing about that is, that was a very one-sided conversation. If you actually knew, you'd probably ask, oh, how many kids? What did your wife do, right? You're gonna ask those kind of questions. So I kind of had to force that on you a little bit, but if you think about any conversation you've had, who's gone to coffee with someone last week? Okay. Was it about real estate or was it about a friend? Just a friend, right? Do they know you're in real estate?
Yeah, they asked me about
Cool. Right. And so really the first thing that people ask about is they already live in real estate, how's the market? Right? And your response to that question is going to, they're testing. They're testing. They already know and like you, that's why they're so high first. They're testing you on trust. Right? Can I trust this person? How do you guys respond to when people say out of the market? I know you're
Say hi.
Okay. All right, so let's role play through that. So it's competitive, Sam, right? Okay. Tell me what do you mean by competitive?
I think there's a lot of buyers out there making offers that maybe aren't worth the full price, or maybe some concessions that they bring out from that, and it's a strong seller's market. But when the buyers are aware that the interest rate is probably going to be going up soon too, so.
Really? Because, we had this $1.3 million home that we're trying to sell. It's been on the market for 2 years. And we slashed it. It's actually under appraisal value. So how is it competitive?
Well, I think that market, which is already advertised, is definitely a different animal.
So to avoid that,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a script here.
Yeah.
It depends, is my answer. How's the market going? It depends. It depends. Depends on what price point you're in. If you're in the higher end market, a little bit tougher right now to sell, right? But a great time to buy still. If you're in the average market, $300,000, $400,000, yeah, it's a competitive market. And in fact, you can sell for a really great price. And the great thing is, and it's what I tell everybody, and Miguel knows this one too, we're in what's called the golden era of real estate, right? Why are we in the golden era of real estate? You guys know? Because it's a great time to sell, but is it also a great time to buy? Yeah. Why is it a great time to buy? Interest rates. Has anybody looked at the historical graph of interest rates and why it's a great time to buy? 1963 was the last graph that I saw, and that was at, I think, 4.5%, right? Every other year, on average, has been above that. And we're just over that right now. Right? Look at the 80s, and it's crazy. It's like 18, 20% sometimes. Right? The average over that period of time, 1963, so what is that? 50-something years, 60 years, has been about 7%. And so we're still well under that. We're still, 720 conventional buyer, 720 credit score, conventional buyer, 20% down. You're looking at about 5%, maybe a little bit less than that right now. Right? So still a great time to sell. So you might want to look at selling your house, and it's a great time to buy because you're locking in an interest rate typically for a 30-year mortgage. Okay? Typically for a 30-year mortgage versus a 15 or 20-year kind of thing. So anyways, so simple script. What I wanted to point out, excuse me, what I want to point out with you was I had to force it a little bit, but if you had known me and liked me already and you were willing to go to coffee with me, you would have had more, you would have been more comfortable, right? And then in this atmosphere. You've been like, oh yeah, my husband's back there and we have these kids, and they're going to this school, and you would have gotten more in depth, right? And you would have said, oh, what do you do? Anytime that I ask somebody and they don't know what I do, and I ask them, hey, what do you do? The next question that comes up is, oh, what do you do? Right? And that's a simple answer. Right? Well, I'm a real estate consultant. Oh, what is that? Like, what do you mean? Right? I always say I'm a consultant because that's what I do. I don't sell homes. When people think realtor or real estate agent, they think of selling homes. what kind of house do you want to live in someday?
What kind?
Yeah, just give me square footage, price point.
With the amount of kids, I'd say probably 25 to 3,500 square feet.
Okay.
With maybe a quarter acre,
What price point?
probably
4 or 500,000? Or
Would
4 or
be
5
my
million?
dream. No, 4 or 500 probably.
Okay, cool. Hey, and what was your name again?
Same.
Sam, I had this awesome 2-bedroom, 1-bath house on a 6,000 square foot lot in Apache Junction. It's a mobile home. But the great thing is, it's only 200,000. You want to buy that? It's fantastic. Great curtains, green carpet, everything else, right? Are my sales skills enough to get you to want that house? No, they're not. So we serve people, we can serve people, right? We're matchmakers. I'm not gonna be able to sell you on the, I'm not a Kirby vacuum salesman, right? Oh, these are all the great features and everything else, right? We can't do that. Does that make sense? Okay. So we don't sell, we consult. Excuse me. So let's talk about lead gen though. Does that clear up with everyone on the know, like, and trust and how the conversations come up? They don't always come up, but a lot of times they do.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
So because of the market, I mean, obviously, the homes are pretty pricey right now, and I have a lot of people that are asking, well, I don't think I want to buy right now because if the market doesn't crash, how do you approach that? So you okay, well,
Yeah.
it should happen. I mean, without them feeling like,
Yeah.
you just, not looking out for their best friend.
Sure. So I'm gonna erase this. You guys okay if I erase this part over here? 'Cause we're gonna go over most of it anyway. So where are we in the cycle right now?
I would say all the way.
You'd say right here?
Go in the morning, yeah.
Right there? Okay, anybody else?
A little more to the right.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, who else?
It's a little too rough, so price is good.
Here? Where else?
I'd say just as far left as he was right.
Okay, who else? Where do you think marks 10 people? How does that work?
A little bit,
What?
a little bit to the left, right?
Okay. All right, who else?
I'd say a little bit more to the left, but probably just-
Like right there? Okay, who else? Which one was saying? Left?
Right.
Right? Okay.
Okay, almost to the top. That's right there.
Okay. This one? Cool. You're all right. Every single one of you. This is where we want to buy. Anywhere in here. This is where we want to sell. Anywhere in here. The difference is that interest rates. Right? So when you think we're right here, right? And people think, oh, we're going to go down. How much are we going down?
What's your main action?
Cash is a little bit different. Cash, so it depends.
My
Yeah.
brother wanted to buy, and for a while I was showing him homes, and he was like, well, I went to Texas, and I talked to some investors, and they're
Yeah.
saying that, well, buy now because the market's going to crash. So.
Well, when people say crash, what does that mean? Does it mean Great Depression or Great Recession crash, or does it mean a typical normal recession that we have? Adjustment, yeah. What is a real estate adjustment look like, or a recession look like? How many percent does it typically go down? Stock market's 10%. What is it for real estate? Yeah, 5 to 10%, somewhere in there. Okay. So for your brother, right, cash investor, depending on how much he's looking at doing, he's going to keep his.
So 5-10% of the home's value?
Yeah. Yep. So the problem that we have right now is that we have to overcome on education a lot, because how many people either lost their home or knew someone that lost their home? Everybody, pretty much, right? Okay. So when you have that, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in the market, even, what are we, 12 years later, 10 years later? When you have fear in the market, the problem is that people are scared because they don't want to buy here, right? Versus, if they actually look at the graphs right now, it would show you that this was 2006. This is 2006 price point, right, at the height of the market. So if we are level with the height of the market right now, is that okay? Or are we in a bubble? Because this was a bubble, right? Are we in a bubble now? The people that say crash and, you know, hold on to your money and all that stuff, they're gonna lose money on this. All right, hold on one second. Because what happens over time? Appreciation, right? So appreciation is gonna go on this kind of funky line where if we're down, sorry, erase that one. Appreciation is gonna go on this funky line. Overall, you have about an average 3 to 4% interest rate. Yeah, I'll show you guys a video at the end of the Frankfurt report. On affordability. What's important about that is that if you look at it 2006 versus 2018, we are at about the same price point, right about the average. Okay. The problem is that if you looked at for the 12 years, so if you looked at what would it be 90? Or you looked at 90? What is it, 96? No, 94. Looked at 94 and where the price points were. They were much farther down here, right? We don't go in a linear fashion, right? If you look at 1950, you didn't buy a house for $300,000. Does that make sense? So you're over time, you you go up. You have inflation, right? You're probably going to see huge inflation numbers coming up here, right? Because we've had low inflation for a long time, right? What's going to happen to real estate when that happens? Because all your cost of material goes up then, right? So I think that we're going to have we're up here. I agree. We're going to go down a little bit, but if it's 8%, 10%, is that okay? Yeah, totally, right? Because if our appreciation is normally 3% in the market, and it goes down even at the worst case scenario 10%, a normal market correction, in 3 years you made that back typically.
Well, we bought in 2006.
You did,
And
yep.
we bought at the peak of the market,
Uh-huh.
and our house went down $100,000.
Sure did.
The only difference is we didn't let go of our house, but we weren't moving anyway.
Yeah.
And well, now, 12 years later, whatever, we ended up selling it.
Yeah.
We made a lot, but
Yeah.
at least we were able to get so much.
So question for you, if that wasn't your personal home and it was an investment property, would it be worth it to buy in 2006?
I don't think so.
Okay. I can show you all kinds of math that shows you that you'd be wrong. As long as it cash flows, right? Because even if you bought at, let's just say 300,000, right?
Well, I guess if you were renting it out.
That's what I'm saying. If it was an investment property, right? All those people that lost their homes, guess where they had to go? Rental, right? Guess what that did to rental prices? Skyrocketed them up, right? That's why now we're at what, $1,500 for an average home, and it used to be like $900, right? So even if you had lost 50% of your value, 300,000 down to 150,000, and you kept that home, who paid off that mortgage for you? Yeah, and if you had cash flow in it, right, you're still good. And you got all the tax breaks from it, right? And it's investment property, so what did you do on the taxes? You wrote them off, right? You wrote up the expenses and everything else, right? So this is kind of getting on the investment side, but when you're able to have that conversation with somebody, you start realizing, you look at the numbers and you're like, okay, we can't just go off appreciation or equity buy down. We actually have to look outside of that and actually look at cash flow and everything else. There's a lot. Real estate is math. If you don't understand math, you need to now, okay? Especially if you want to work with investors, right? You need to know the emotional side for buyers and sellers that are owner occupying, but you also have to know the math side, okay? Most people are S's and C's, right? In this profile, these two. These people are emotional, these people are analytical. A lot of them cross over a lot, okay? So you need to have those two aspects of it, right? Guess where most realtors are? Right. So if you understand where you are, you need to be able to adapt to these people. Okay? But I could break down those numbers for you on a $300,000 house or whatever, and show you how it actually still makes sense to buy even if it's at the top of the market, as long as the house cash flows. The reason people lost a lot was because you had people that were overinflating, you didn't have good lending practices and things like that, and then what happens, right? You guys heard Warren Buffett, right? Okay. You ever heard the tide story? When the tide goes out, you find out who's skinny dipping. Right. That's what it's about. Too much people over leveraged. They were taking negative cash flow and things like that versus being responsible with their money, stewarding their money well, and understanding that in that way. Okay. So all that to come back to, it would still be a good time to buy. Okay. Right. Why are we talking about this in a lead gen class and finding your business? Right? I'm going to bring it all back here because this is all about trust. Right? If people know, like, and trust you. Right? If you could have explained that to your brother, he might have more questions and you can get more into that. But would he go, wow, like, she's really knowledgeable about the market and knows what she's talking about? Right?
Obviously, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, and you know what? It's okay because today you could call him and say, hey, I want to let you know about some things that I learned and that will actually help you. Right? So hopefully, if that's just one thing you can take away from today, I did my job. Right? We're going to take a break in like 2 minutes, okay? So far, is this helpful for you guys to understand? Like, this is kind of the mindset of finding your business, right, in lead gen. Is this helpful, or is it, not clear at all, and people don't understand why we're talking about this? Oh, good, one person. All right, awesome. So 1 out of 10, 10%. All right. Do I need to clear up anything on know, like, and trust? Like, why? Does that make sense though? Or am I just crazy? I'm like a crazy guy up here. I don't know. I'm the Donald Trump of real estate.
The kind of money you're making,
Oh, there you
it's
go.
okay to be crazy. I'm sure we all want to be a little crazy.
It's true. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about finding your business on the practical side. Again, this is more the mindset stuff because that's important. It's actually most important. But let's take like a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the all that fun stuff. It is. I'm actually I'm trying to figure this out right now. Hello. I don't know. It looks like the microphone is on, but I don't know. I don't know when it's on.